will hit the pavement and you be roughed up. And yes, he deserved a punch. He should have gave him closed fist, but it was open. It wasn't even a punch. He mushed him with the palm. It was a palm strike. And let's talk about facts in the law. Officers have discretion to use a reasonable amount of force that they think is necessary to gain compliance and detain the suspect. Okay, and that was necessary. 3 times, 7 times, he asked him. He told the suspect to open the door. Open the door. 3 times he said, "Open the door, or we're going to break the window." So he asked him 7 times to just open the door. Then 3 times he said, "Open the door, or we're going to break the window." Another thing, this guy is suspect all the way around. First of all, it took him 6 months to actually do all this stuff, make the outcry about the stop and all this because he wants money. Okay.
Looking for a fun new way to socialize? Look no further. With the Viola app, you can actually have fun for
stop and all this because he wants money. Okay. Next, the reason why he didn't want to comply is because, one, he had marijuana in his right pocket. Okay, he didn't have his lights on, and in inclement weather, we saw the rain on the window, so it was drizzling somewhat, but there was an overcast as well. And he was driving on a suspended license. He also didn't have his seatbelt on. So again, use of force is predicated on what the officer deems as reasonable. And when he did not, after all that went forward, they had to break his window. Yeah, they say they don't know what he had in the car. Speaking of what he had in the car, there was a knife on the floor when they went through the car. He had a big 12-inch knife on the floor of the car front seat. Okay, folks, when these officers pull you over, the officer doesn't know you. This man had tinted windows also. They don't know you. It is a adversarial meeting. They don't know you. You don't know the officer. You have to comply because this is their lives that are in danger. That guy could have easily, if he had a gun in the car, he could have easily shot that cop. These cops want to go home too. Follow directions. It's as simple as that.
I want to address Brown Eyes. I think, unfortunately, I don't know. Fortunately, I do agree with Brown Eyes. I think he's going to win his case. Number one, I think he will. Yeah, unfortunately, Crump is his lawyer. Why? Who else would you expect to be, right? I think he's going to win. And let me say this. I'm going to play the other side, if you will, because he had a knife. Carrying knives in Florida or guns are not necessarily illegal. I'm just saying some of the possibilities, right? I don't know if he was barred from having a knife or a gun or any other weapon. I don't know that as far as his legal status or his case or whatever. But I also think Crump is going to argue that whether or not he filed charges right away or 6 months later is irrelevant if he did it within the time frame for the statute of limitations.
Oh yeah, I know he's going to get paid.
So I think he's going to get paid too.
Guess what? For all you guys that are out there, salivating over him getting money. Okay, guess what?
That's tax.
You're paying for it, dummies. You're paying for it because when the city has to pay out on these types of lawsuits that really they shouldn't get a dime. When they do that, you are paying for it out of your insurance, out of property taxes, and so on. You're gonna pay for it when they file these frivolous lawsuits and have to get paid all this money.
And KJ, another thing about this, which is really frustrating and infuriating, is that people like this young man, he is setting an example for other black men, young men, who will, because I see this type of behavior, they post this kind of defiance behavior, and this guy just got punched a little bit. Someone else might get seriously hurt or even, not live after this kind of encounter if he resists any further. So this kind of behavior also sets a horrible example. And if he gets paid, that's even worse because it'll encourage other people to behave.
Again, I want to stop right there because what she's saying is extremely powerful. See, this is the problem with these situations. And this is another reason why they are constantly going on. and why the black community or the so-called black leaders like Benjamin Crump and all these guys won't say anything because they want this to keep happening. That's the whole is that what she just said. She cracked a case. She cracked the code. They don't want it to stop. This is their bread and butter. And I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something. Believe it or not, if this would have happened 6 or 7, if this would have happened 8 months ago, right before the election, this might have would have cost Trump his election. Well, then I'm not gonna say that because God chose Trump, so nothing would have stopped it. But I'm just saying they would have used this. This is why we can't have Trump. Because this is how Trump lost the election in 2020. It's George Floyd. They wanted something like this. It just came a day late and a dollar short. But this is the issue with that. This has all black men everywhere around the world that say they sell black people. Well, hey, guess what? However, what happened? I'll take a little butt whipping, but I know I can go get famous up from it, and I know I can get famous from it. I can get famous from it. I can get some money. I can get pity from the world. Oh yeah, I can become an overnight celebrity. I can come from a nobody to overnight celebrity. This dude got over 40,000 followers on Instagram. This dude was a nobody, a bozo, a square, and he now is a little local celebrity. You got dentists in his comment section. I seen one dentist say, I'll fix your teeth for free. Like, this is the type of stuff coming from pity of what he did. Rewarding bad decisions means other people will continue to do it, hoping they will get rewarded. And they might lose their life.
Like this with the police.
Yeah, we're seeing this all over the place. We're seeing people get belligerent with the police now. They do not respect not only police, but any type of authority. Anywhere you go, look at what we're seeing on the airlines now. You can't even take a flight without these people acting a total fool, cussing and fussing and fighting at airline stewardess, at the pilots, anybody in any type of authority. They do not respect it because they're looking for a payday. They're looking for a payday. It really makes me sick. I'm so sick of ignorant people. I really am.
You know what's crazy, KJ? And I'm trying to find the silver lining in this dark cloud for Florida taxpayers are going to have to pony up this money. A fool and his money are soon parted.
Absolutely.
And he's going to blow through that money like a hot knife through butter. So really, you're just stimulating your own economy in the long run. Right? But it's going to suck for the police. It really is going to be, okay, then tell me where the line is, right? It's already tough to recruit police officers. It's super tough to retain them because most of them don't want to have to live through this to be sued.
Right.
And we don't even have the law enforcement officers' Bill of Rights anymore. The Democrat legislature repealed that. So you're not going to see any Maryland cop put any extra effort in. They're crime reporters. Right? This crime happened. We'll take a nice report, go to court and see what happens. There's no zeal to go out and get the bad guy anymore because they're not protected. And we should do much better by law enforcement officers. I, like you, KJ, I'm sick of this. Did you see that story about that girl who showed up in her underwear in a house?
Oh, yeah, with the robe, yeah.
Talking about, and now, doggone well, a spirit won't let you fly.
Oh, that's what...
The spirit won't let you. That is the soul plane of the skies. You hear me? It is the Greyhound bus of the skies. If they won't let you fly because you're inappropriately dressed and you feel some kind of way, what are we doing here? You're a whole grown woman. You don't come outside in your bathrobe and your underwear talking about shorts. That's not shorts. Those are drawers. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Culturally, there's a part of
evolved.
that's just not going to make it.
And then you have people taking up for this stuff. You got
the perfect
vultures
word.
It's
a perfect word she used. I want to stop on that. Devolve. That's a culture we have devolved. The women of today, our black women of today, man, like I said, I'm 37, so my parent was a part of the baby boomer generation. The women of today Yeah, that's the perfect word for it. Devolve. Let's continue.
Bottom feeders like this illiterate Benjamin Crumb. Crumb. I call him Crumb. You know, he's a crumb. He's a piece of nothing.
Good word.
He makes me sick.
That day, I just
Good
really wanted to
nickname.
know, why I was getting pulled over and why.
Look at him. Look at him. He's a defeated beta boy. Mama's boy. Well, you just like your mom. He's a he's a defeated little you know what in this picture at the bottom. But at the top, he was big old gangster.
I needed to step out the car, and I know I didn't do nothing wrong.
He didn't do nothing wrong. Yeah, we just seen what you did.
I was really just scared.
We know.
Yeah, that's it.
Like Jesse Lee Peterson say, I was just so scared.
His teeth was actually broke when you still sit there. Could you just, this was a violent encounter.
What I was taught is to, instead of fighting them on the street where we don't have power at, fight them in the courts.
If they're proud of the conduct on the video, then they should release the officers' names.
I seen what my son did that I had to do. And he shot right. And he did right. To see that it's a hurting feeling.
The day I seen that video, I couldn't finish it past the window breaking. But I'm thankful to God for protecting him because I know what the outcome could have been.
My gosh. So I didn't even know. I hadn't even seen the whole video. Didn't know the whole family looked like Franklin. The turtle. These things, these folks don't have an ounce of intelligence in their bodies. This should have been
Again, I've said this already. Most black people don't think for themselves, which means it leads them to having low IQs, especially the people they look up to, because a lot of these celebrities, LeBron, these people have low IQ. They just was extremely talented, so that brought in finances for them to be around certain people, advisors that know how to invest those finances, and that's what made them be so rich. But these people are dumb. You have conversations with some of these. I've had conversations with rappers. These dudes, I'm not an athlete, but these athletes, they dumb. You can listen to the thing they say, and then some of them you never know if they dumb or not because they understand that once they do speak on certain things, they're going to get ousted. You can't tell black people the truth because they, like I say, they too overly emotional. So if a black person to come out and say, hey, one of the black rappers or actors come, because it happens every now and then, where one of these black rappers like Waka Flocka or one of these black rappers will come out and speak on certain things, and now they losing followers, they losing support because it's like, you're not supposed to say nothing. So say for one of them to come out and say, well, look, blacks, just stop fighting the police. Just stop. When the police pull you over, comply. They lose so many followers. So
teach a lesson for him. A lesson. And we look like Franklin. The turtle. These things, these folks don't have an ounce of intelligence in their bodies. This should have been teach a lesson.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to that. Yeah, most black people, man, they like I said, if you've seen the whole press conference, of course, guess where it was, everybody? The black church. It was in the black church, of course. Bunch of angry so-called civil rights attorneys and his parents. And you just can look at them, man. Like I say, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but some things must be said. And they represent a lot of black people in America. Most black people in America. Very, very, very low IQ. Some of them educated. And people got to thank God for the college system. Because if it wasn't for the college system, a lot of black people, man, they would be done. Well, a lot of people, but I'm just speaking about black people right now. They have low IQs. And the college, the scholastic institution, give them a way that they can learn a trade or learn a craft or whatever and take care of themselves. But these people, you can see, man, they just not smart people. They just like it is what it is, man. I gotta call a spade a spade. It's sad, but it is what it is.
Lesson for him, a lesson. But they're out here just taking up for this stuff. It's ridiculous.
Look. Even if again, let's just say some of the people who saying it was excessive. Let's just say for argument's sake, they have a point, right? I mean, they might. But when I heard that Ben Crump was the attorney, I knew right then and there, right? That's all I needed to know. That's all I needed to know. Now they done brought on the family soul, to give the tears and the acting and, the little quivering lip on the father and all. I knew it. It was not. This is all for show. This is the diaspora.
Nicole, they ready. They're gonna get paid. They're gonna get paid.
And be broke inside of a year. Let me tell you, he's gonna have all gold fronts, all gold bottoms. It's just gonna be money through a sieve. But what the father should have said, right? Be a father and say, son, you was wrong as two left shoes. And he asked you to give him your information. Give him the information. Oh, wait, you're a sovereign citizen and you don't believe you have to give them your information. Then say that. Say that so they can call the sheriff and the sheriff can come over and tell you, you can be as sovereign as you want to, but you're going to take this L, homie. This is what this is. You can go to court and fight later, but just to sit there, lock the door, close the door, and ignore them when they're screaming at you at the top of their lungs, unlock the door, put down the window. They did everything humanly possible for this not to be the outcome. But at some point, you have to comply. Whether you do it willingly or they force you into compliance, you will bend that knee. They will put you face down and secure that scene. You become a greater threat when they think, oh, I can't see what he's doing in the car. He might be loading a gun. He might be like some of these videos I've seen, these crazy young women get in the car, slam the door, and try to take off and run over 5 or 6 cops because they were scared.
That just happened in New York. I think in New York City that just happened, and they killed a 60-year-old woman.
Yeah. It is ridiculous to me. We have got to do better with our youth. I'm just going to say there's a generation we just going to have to scratch through their name and move on to the next. But this is endemic. It is absolutely. I mean, there's 1,000,001 videos on YouTube of people taking a simple traffic ticket and turning it into a felony all over the place. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Yana. I have no words. I have no words.
Me neither. This kid, he acts like he never got a real whooping in his life, ever. From that video with the police, the way he behaved and how he almost cried at the end, and to now, where the parents are whispering in his ear what he should be saying, how he was hurt. He never had a real upbringing, and it's unfortunate. And his teeth, did he really lose those teeth at that encounter? Or it just happened like 6 months later and now he's saying, like...
Who knows? They all look like, the before of everything after. I mean, that was one family. Maybe I'll change my mind. Give them the money. Give them the money. Because I hope maybe they can. These type of people like this idiot are making it dangerous for our black boys. Because when police see somebody, they're going to think they're going to give them a hard way to go.
Yeah, but then we expect our police not to do that. We expect them to be able to draw the line. Yeah.
Newsflash, don't feel bad, KJ. Everybody profiles because everybody has a bias, and profiling at the very least is a self-protective mechanism. Believe you me, I profile every damn day because there's certain areas I'm not going to go in, certain areas I'm not going to drive, and if I see certain people doing certain things, looking like certain things in certain places, damn it, I'm profiling. Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah. And that's how stereotypes are born. That's how stereotypes are
Stereotype, bias, profiling. I do it.
I get it. No. And that's why people do stereotype and profile, because this type of behavior continues. It doesn't stop.
Absolutely.
So that's what KJ was saying, is that it perpetuates the stereotype, makes it worse. Even when people want to be, I don't know, what's the word? Blind, race blind, or color blind.
Right.
It's hard to do that when this kind of behavior continues.
Listen, it happens on both sides, though. I will say this, and people are dumb across the board. But when you're dumb to a point where you put your own personal safety at risk, that rises from your average, everyday dumb across the board to something very, very specific. And you're right, KJ and Evie, Shelley, you're right. It puts something in their head that, okay, you're a little bit extra above regular dumb. And every time I see somebody with tinted windows driving that kind of make, model of car, I'm going to have to come at them from a certain perspective to protect myself, because I want to go home too. I got a family that loves me too. So I'm not going to get out here and get shot, stabbed, maimed, whatever the new YouTube, euphemism is for jacking up police officers. They want to go home. They just want to help the community, protect, and serve, but they want to go home too. They have families just like everybody else, and I'm hopeful that, this jury is going to take into consideration a couple of things. One, I understand that he claims to be a sovereign citizen. So you can't have it both ways. Either, our laws apply to you or our laws do not.
Oh,
So
you know what?
We have this traffic stop, and it looked...
Okay, this is video. So we're going to break it into video, but I'm going to leave it all in one. Like I said, we're going to be here for a minute, sit here and enjoy the commentary and the exhibits I'm playing. But this guy is a attorney. He has a successful YouTube channel. I did my research on him. His credentials are intact. And I would like y'all to check his... Now, what he's saying is coming from it's bipartisan. What he's saying is it's not pro officers, not pro the guy. It's just the simple facts. And for me, sometimes when I hear people tell the truth, it's a little bit hilarious, because it's like, you a dinosaur, man. Like, but the way he puts it, some of it's funny. But let's continue.
If you watch the cell phone video, as is, Arthur McNeil is doing nothing wrong. The cops, just for no reason, smash out his car window, drag him out of the car, throw him on the ground, handcuff him. And if a civilian did that, he'd be in handcuffs himself. So how can it possibly be right for the police to do that? Well, when police are acting in self-defense, they largely have the same self-defense rights as all of us. It's not that much different for police than it is for civilians. But the police have authority to use force under circumstances where a civilian would not. For example, the police have a legal privilege to initiate the use of physical force, which you and I do not have. As civilians, we cannot be the initial physical aggressors in a confrontation. If we do, we lose the right of self-defense. Self-defense is intended to allow us to defend ourselves against someone else's initiation of unlawful force, not to allow us to initiate unlawful force in someone else and then try to justify it as self-defense.
There are two types of people who should avoid taking gabapentin for neuropathy. Anyone who wants to keep both legs healthy.
Someone else and then try to justify it as self-defense. And there's very few circumstances in which we as a civilian can initiate force and have it be lawful. Society doesn't want that. Society doesn't want civilians going around and initiating force on each other. In part, that's what we have police for. We have select individuals that we train and authorize and give a badge to, make them swear an oath. And those people are given the privilege as law enforcement officers to initiate force to compel compliance with lawful demands. When a police officer gives you a lawful command, you are legally bound to obey that command. And if you don't obey the command, the officer is privileged to initiate force on you to compel your compliance. And one of the most common circumstances in which you're subject to lawful commands from a police officer, because a police officer can't simply order people about willy-nilly, but one circumstance in which he has a much broadened authority to issue lawful commands is during a traffic stop. During a lawful traffic stop, a police officer can demand all kinds of things from you: a driver's license, registration, insurance, that he can't demand from you if you were simply walking down the street. Can't demand for no good reason. But if you're the target of a traffic stop, he can demand, and you are obliged to provide your license, registration, insurance. And if you don't do those things, you are subject to arrest. And if you don't comply with the arrest, and compliance could be violent or non-violent. Simply not obeying the lawful order is a non-violent non-compliance with arrest. The officer can use physical force to compel your compliance with that arrest you made necessary by not fulfilling your legal duty to provide the license, registration, and insurance. Now, most of us, I would imagine, have at some point been the target of a traffic stop. I know I certainly have, usually because my speedometer wasn't working correctly.
Right.
And what do? You comply with the traffic stop. You provide your license, your insurance, your registration. Maybe you get a warning if you're lucky. That's usually I'm lucky. Sometimes you get a ticket that you have to pay. That's just the way a traffic stop goes, but it's no big problem. It's no big drama for anybody. Now, in this particular case, Arthur McNeil had a suspended license. He had drugs on his person. He had a large knife on the floorboard of the driver's side of the car, right where he was sitting. He had reasons for that officer not to run his driver's license, not to have a reason to pull him out of the car, search the vehicle, find the drugs, for example. So he decided to be non-compliant. Well, once you're...
And then that's another thing. That's another thing. How stupid. I'm just showing you how stupid people can be. How people's mind don't work correct. I done been pulled over by police. Had run in with police at every state under the Mason-Dixie line. I'm a Louisiana native. I'm a Florida resident. And it's been times, I'm going to be honest, it's been times that I've had some weed, a gun, and nothing happened. You know why? Because I knew that having a weed, a gun, or not the gun so much, but the weed was a violation. So when the cop put me over, I was I'm always extremely polite regardless, because I was raised to respect authority. Which is, like I said, I covered all that in my first situation dealing with this William McNeil, which was my last video on his channel, Message to the Black Community, Volume 23. But I was raised to respect authority, so I don't disrespect cops. Even in the two situations in my 37 years where I had two bad cops I ran into, I still respected them all the way through. But I've been pulled over by cops, man. But I'm gonna just say this. It just shows how silly and brainwashed, dumbed down, and demoralized the young man was, because you got drugs on you. You know you got a suspended license. You would think you would be more compliant than somebody who got their itch together. If you're gonna have if you're gonna do that, which is, like I say, I don't tell you to do that. If you're going to buck the police and be at least have your itch together, have a valid license, have insurance, don't have drugs on you. I don't care if it was a nickel bag. Like, what are you doing, you idiot? Let's continue.
Non-compliant at a traffic stop, it opens up lots of bad outcomes for you that only exist because of your non-compliance. So let's take a look at the body-worn camera here of the officer involved, and we'll see the nature of the patently non-compliance of Arthur McNeil Jr. with his legal duties at a traffic stop to present his license, registration, insurance, and obey the lawful orders of this police officer, Bowers. Let me pull this up.
National reciprocity. It means if you have a valid CCW permit, you'll be able to carry in all 50 states.
Bowers. Let me pull this up.
Yeah, Florida 24 Bravo, Echo Charlie Whiskey, So Kia.
By the way, I noticed later in the video that this Kia that Arthur McNeil is driving is pretty beat up. It's got a lot of dents. It looks like it has substantial front end damage. The hood is kind of buckled in. It's hard to tell, but I think that was present before this stop. I don't think the police vehicles involved caused that damage, for example. Which might have been another reason that the officer did